Hi, Tim Bartz here at McArthur Ford in Salina, Kansas. You probably know me for these the complete guide or walk-arounds on the different trims of the different vehicles here. And I love doing those videos. And then I usually, when I get to talk about that, I don't go into detail on the productivity screen. So this video is going to highlight the different productivity screens. This will be a 6-part for this. Don't know how much of this I'm going to include in each of the different videos. So it may be just a couple videos that I'm going to do this on, but I will go ahead and kind of talk more about it. This in here is going to be, we're going to first talk about the 2.3-inch screen. Now, this is a screen you normally would see on your base trim vehicles. I think all your Fiestas have the same screen, as well as your Focus S, your F-150 XL, Ranger XL will have the same screen. So there's several that will have this, Transit Connect and some of those, and I'll have a full list of those down in the description, as well as they're probably going to flash on the screen right now. That's probably how I'm going to do that as well, so you can see the different vehicles. That this screen is what you're going to see on those different trims and models. But we're going to go through this in detail and go through each of these and how to adjust everything. So if you're watching this, or maybe you're wondering, how do I do this? How do I change these different settings? We're going to go through that step by step here. So first, the D-pad is here, is where you can control all that. So most of your vehicles will have the D-pad on the left side of the steering wheel, and that's how you're going to control this, with the arrows left and right, up and down, and hitting the OK there. And so first we're going to have to start off by, you may have to hit the left to go to the menu, but we're going to go to the menu, start at the top. Trip 1. Trip 1 is where you can actually see different measurements for each trip. So in this case, you're going to see, you know, how many miles per hour you're going. So if you want it on that display right there, you can. You're going to see at the bottom, under those dotted lines, is going to be the total miles for the vehicle, not necessarily for that trip. Actually, that is for that trip. And then you're going to see miles to empty. You're going to see, of course, there's your miles for that trip. And so I was correct. So you can see the 1 over there to the left with the road. That means you're on trip 1, and that's the miles for that trip, for this trip indicator. And so then below that is going to be your total miles. In this case, it's only like a couple miles different on this because of when that was started or reset. And then of course you go down, you can see the time that's elapsed for this trip as well on there, and then your average miles for that trip, miles per gallon. So if you're going on a trip, maybe you want to know what your miles per gallon are, you know, for the trip. Maybe you're going on the highway, you're going on a trip somewhere, you want to know how efficient it is on the highway. You can reset that for that trip, and now you're going to be able to see what the average miles per gallon was when you're going on that trip. And then of course we're right back to your miles per hour for that trip as well, so you can kind of see how fast you're going there. So you can see all that. So if I hit left again, you're going to go back to the menu, and then we have a second trip. So you have trip 2. So if you want to have those separate, you can. So maybe city driving, you can flip that back and forth for those different trips, and you can reset that. Now to reset it, all you need to do is press and hold the OK button, and it's going to go ahead and then reset that trip for you. So you'll just do that. I think you have to be, you have to be on one of the 2s. So if you see the road with the 1 or the 2, then you'll need to be on that. You press and hold it until it zeroes out, and you can see that there. So in this case, it was the little clock with the 2. That's where we reset that. So that's how you're going to do that. Now let's go back to the main menu and go down to the next one, which is fuel economy. So if we go right, follow the arrows there, you use the right arrow, you're going to see, of course, we're back to 70 miles to empty on this case, of course, miles per gallon, and then your average miles per gallon. And this is total on this one for fuel economy. So that's for the life of the vehicle. This happens to say it's 15 miles per gallon. It's only got 100 miles on it, so I'm not sure on that. But then there's your miles per hour average right there. So they're going really slow in this particular vehicle. And then it says auto start stop, which you can't press that, so I'm not sure why that pulls up on there. And then we're going to go back to the main menu again, and now we're going to go down to the driver assist. So if we go right for that arrow, you're going to see this particular vehicle does come standard with the Copilot 360, which is standard on a couple vehicles for 19, but we're going to see that roll out as we go to 2020, almost all the Ford vehicles. So if it is equipped with the Copilot 360 or pre-collision on your F-150 XLs, you're going to have that pre-collision as an option. So if we move right there, you're going to see the active braking, whether you can you can have that, you know, set to go or not. Now, active braking means that if they do sense that there's someone in front of you stopped, it's going to actively try to brake your vehicle for you. So if you don't like that, don't want that on there, you can deactivate that just by hitting your OK right there, and it's going to uncheck that box. So that's how that's going to work. Now we'll go down to the pre-collision setting, go right again, and you can turn that on and off. So if you don't want the pre-collision assist there, you can turn it off and deactivate it. I recommend you don't do that. This is really for your safety and for everyone in the vehicle as well. So we'll go back to that and leave that on, of course, and go down. And now you have your alert sensitivity. We go right, we have 3 different options. You have high, normal, and low alert sensitivity. So if you want it on, maybe you want that for safety, but let's put it on low, because I don't want it a high sensitivity on that when it's braking me real early and such like that. So you can set that sensitivity if you want to. Of course, we always defaults to the normal setting for that. Now going back to the pre-collision as part of that, we'll go down and we're back to the active braking. So we've gone through all that within the pre-collision. So let's go ahead and go back left here to the main driver assist part. And then we're going to go down. There is a trailer sway control when this, so your F-150s, your Rangers will have this, so you can check and uncheck your trailer sway control if you want to deactivate that. And we'll go down, now we're to tire pressure. So if we go right on tire pressure, we can actually see the tire pressure on all of the tires around the vehicle. As you can see, the ones here on the left side, they're at 38, and the right, we're at 36 and 37 on the back here. And then that's really the only setting you see there. So you can see that the tire pressure there. Go down one more, and we're back to the top of that list for the driver assist. So let's go left again. And then we'll go through and go down one more to the settings. Settings is probably where we're going to see most of the different things that you're going to want to adjust. So let's go right, and we're into truck info. This your Rangers and F-150s will have this setting. Of course, your cars will not have the truck info. So if we go right there, and it's going to have your lighting. So if we go right again for lighting, we have daytime running lights. So this has standard equipment daytime running lights. It is checked, so that way the daytime running lights are on. You can uncheck that if you don't want those on. You can go down to auto lamp delay, and this is the delay for the auto lamp from turning off once with daylight on, if you have an auto setting for your headlights. About all the Ford vehicles anymore have auto headlamps, even standard equipment, even your very base models. So you're going to have that, so you can set it to 20 seconds, or it looks like 120, and there's even 10 seconds, or you can shut that off completely. So and then if we go back left again, we'll go back to that, and then that's all your lighting settings. So let's go left again to go back to your truck info and go down to locks. So here, if we go right, we're going to be able to turn on and off your auto lock and auto unlock. And auto lock means that when you start going in the vehicle, it's going to automatically lock the doors for you automatically. And then when you shut the vehicle off, the auto lock would be to then auto unlock your doors so that you don't have to unlock those when you turn the vehicle off. So you can uncheck and check those options there. And there's a mislock. I'm really not sure what that mislock does. And I think it's if you accidentally lock the vehicle, probably, and you have the keys inside, it'll actually allow it to not lock. So it'll basically, when if you have the keys inside it and you lock it, I think when you shut the doors, it'll unlock the vehicle for you, so you don't accidentally lock the keys in it. And then switches inhibitors is where you can uncheck and check that, and that's for these switches here to be able to not use them. So if you want them not to be able to use those switches, you can uncheck that there. And then your remote unlock. So here's what's neat. If you when you use your keyless entry to lock and unlock the vehicle, when you hit that unlock button one time, in this case right now it's set up for the driver first, which means you would have to hit that button twice to unlock all the doors then. Or if you just always want to be able to unlock all the doors just by hitting it once, you can move that control up to the all doors, hit the OK, and it'll then change it to all doors instead of just the driver first. So it doesn't mean you're not going to be able to unlock the other ones with the remote. What it means is when you unlock it once, hit the unlock once, what is it going to do? Is it going to unlock all the doors or just the driver's door? And then when you hit it a second time, it'll unlock all the doors. So that's how that works. Going back left to the lock screen, we're back to the going back to the top where the auto lock again. So let's go back left again one more time and continue. Now we're going to the neutral toe. Now this does have neutral toe, so if I hit right, it says preconditions not met, see manual. So this does not have the neutral toe capabilities, but it's in there because some trucks do have that capabilities. I believe it has to have 4-wheel drive, which this is 4-wheel drive. So some of the vehicles you'll need to have, you know, certain systems to be able to have neutral towing capabilities, and that'll tell you whether or not you do and whether or not it's available for that. And then you keep going down, you have oil life reset, and that's where you can reset it. Usually when you go take it into Ford service, they're going to go ahead and reset that for you, but maybe if you do your own oil changes, then that's where you want to reset the oil life so you know when you need to have your oil changes. And then we're back and then we're up to remote start. So remote start allows you, because this has the 4-pass connect, you can remote start it with the app. And so this tells you, if you go right, what is the duration for the remote start that it's set at. So you can set it for 5, 10, or 15 minutes. You can adjust that. This is set on 15 minutes right now. So you're going to see the duration. When you do remote start it, how long is it going to remote start before it shuts off, so it doesn't stay on constantly. And then for system, if you uncheck that box, then it would not allow the vehicle to remote start. So that's kind of a safety precaution for Ford in case somebody else tries to remote start your vehicle, and maybe you don't want that. So let's go back left, gone over remote start, and we have safe seat belts. This is really cool. So if we go right, you can see all those seat belts that should be for this Ford Ranger. So this is a crew cab, so you do have the 4 or 5 seat belts. So right now it has a number there, it says 0. But if I put my seat belt on, it'll change that to 1 and then show you which person does have their seat belt on. So if the kid's in the back, take their seat belts off, then it lets you know that by showing who has their seatbelts on. So really neat. I don't know if that's just rolling out in the Ford Ranger, because I haven't seen that in some of the other vehicles before. So yours may or may not have the seatbelts in there, but as we see more and more vehicles, especially in 2020, we're going to see more of those probably have that in there as availability in there. So, and then going down to wipers, if we go right, this one does have most of them will have courtesy wipe, and so it's unchecked if you want that. Basically, when you turn the wipers off, sometimes there's some of that drizzle down, so you want one courtesy wipe, kind of makes it to where it's free of that. You can uncheck and check that if you want that. Here's where you're going to find also, if your vehicle has rain sensing wipers, this is where you're going to activate and deactivate the rain sensing wipers. Usually most of the vehicles with this type of productivity screen will not have rain sensing wipers. It's usually when you're going to see that in some of the others, and we'll talk more about that in other videos when we go to those other screens. And then trying to find a vehicle there. And then we go down to the lighting, then we're back to the daytime running lights, so we've gone clear around there. So let's go left out of the truck info, and now we're on the My Key. And so if we're looking at the My Key here, that's where you can set 2 different keys. So this does have the My Key. So one key is going to be the master key, and the other one you can program. So if you have a kid that drives the vehicle, maybe a teenager or something, you can set some different functions for that key. So you can set which key is the My Key. So you have the My Key status there, and it shows you how many keys are set up with the My Key and how many admins. In this case, they both come with admins. So at this point, you can take one key and decide which one you want as the admin, and this is where you're going to go in and do that. And then you can see the different distances for the different My Keys. So you can see how much your kids have driven your vehicle with the My Key, which is really cool. Now if we go back to the left and go down, you can create a My Key. So we're not going to do that with this vehicle, but that's where you would want to do that. You would hit the create a key, and you can create which key you want to be the My Key, and that's the key you would give to the kids and say, this is your key. This is the main admin key. So then what also allows you to do, I don't know if you know anything about My Key, but it allows to be able to have some different requirements for the My Key. So what it's going to do is allow for, like, the radio, if the seatbelt's not on, the radio keeps at a certain level, or may not even be able to be on unless they have the seatbelt on. Also eliminates the speed that they can go on the highway. So they can't go over like 65 miles per hour. So it eliminates the speed, as well as how high you can have that radio volume go, so you can eliminate some of that to have safer driving. So those kids that want to blare the radio or maybe speed on the highway, the My Key allows you to keep them into those requirements. So makes them a little bit safer drivers that way. So go back left from the My Key, and we're going to go down to the display setup. Now this is where, when we go right, we're going to be able to display, you know, what's our distance unit we're using. So we want miles, or do we want liters and kilometers instead of gallons and such. So we can change how the different settings, especially if you're in Canada or somewhere like that, where it's instead of miles per hour, it may be kilometers. So you can change the distance unit right there. Go back left again, and I'll do the same thing for your temperature. So you want Fahrenheit, you want Celsius, you can change that through those settings as well. And then tire pressure, you can change it from PSI to KPA, so you can change those different settings through that. And then your languages as well. So you have English, Spanish, French, and then back to English. So the 3 languages there. So that's where you would adjust some of those right there, and then we're back up to distance again. So go back left. I think we've gone through everything in the settings. So let's go ahead and go back to the main menu here and go down, and we're back up to the trip. So we've gone through everything in there. So feel free to, you know, go back in this video if you need to re-look at those. Hopefully I have some good screenshots of that, so you can kind of understand how those all work and how you set the different settings in there. So there's a lot can be done through the settings. Even this one here, you think, oh, it's a smaller screen, it doesn't have a lot there. There's quite a bit of information in there, and some different requirements and settings you can set up in there for this for your vehicle. So hopefully this helps you out, and more information on this 2.3-inch productivity screen that you're going to see on most of your entry-level Ford vehicles.